Real estate is one of the biggest markets for scams. So whether it comes to paying that very first deposit, and then it turns out the landlord wasn't real, or that commission to an agent, turns out the agent wasn't real. Those are some really key things to really verify before you rent.
In recent years, a growing number of young adults, especially those aged 22 to 29, are breaking away from the traditional norm of living with their parents and are increasingly opting to rent their own places. In 2022, a Property Guru study found that 66% of these individuals chose to rent due to insufficient savings to purchase a property, with 36% citing unaffordable property prices as their reason for doing so. Here to provide more insights on this topic is Dominic Schacher, the founder of Rently. Hi Dominic, welcome to the show. How are you?
Good. How about you?
Fantastic. So let's begin. Let's dive right in. Dominic, with the evolving rental landscape in Singapore, can you share insights into the factors that have driven more young adults to choose renting over living with their parents?
One of the very big factors was obviously COVID. I think that drove, a lot of the changes or the demand for renting. It was before you're working, then you're going out with your friends, so you get to stay out and then you just go home to sleep. Now, you had to spend 24/7 inside the house, especially in Singapore, where a lot of families live together through generations. It actually got quite challenging. We saw a huge demand for new apartments starting 2022, obviously, which also caused some of the pricing issues that we had last couple of years in Singapore.
Okay, so the underlying theme here, would you say, is then freedom, right? People are seeking a sense of freedom in their lives.
Yeah, correct. I think, I remember very clearly the very first time I got to move out from my parents, had my own place, could set my own rules, which that's fantastic, right? So people are seeing more and more of that, especially social media as well. They get to see what other people are doing, what their friends are doing, what people across the globe are doing. That demand for freedom is becoming more and more evident.
Could you highlight how technology, from your perspective, has transformed the rental experience for young adults? And what exciting innovations do you foresee shaping the market?
Thanks for asking. I think, the biggest innovation in the last 20 years was obviously search portals. But I think since then, innovation has really stalled, right? So hence, I think we at Rently thought it's about time that actually renting becomes much easier than it is. So if you think about it traditionally, when you search for an apartment, you go to a search portal and then you go from online to offline. You have to start calling people, you have to go visit places. We thought, hey, for us, this is actually where the renter's journey should begin. So if you find a place, from booking, a viewing, from actually doing your contract, from signing your contract, it should all be done online in a secure environment. Again, in Singapore, we're lucky enough that we get to use SingPass for that, so you know who your counterparty is. But even after that, one of the big hurdles, I think, for young adults, when you're moving countries, obviously, the first deposit that you have to pay. So for us, it was a very simple decision to say, hey, we know everybody's verified on our platform. How about we also pay the deposit on behalf of the tenant? We know the tenant, we know the landlord. How about we just take that hassle away from the tenant? But even, once you're living inside your apartment and you need, let's say you need an aircon repairman or you need your fridge repaired, you just go into the app and you can actually order that from the app, rather than, again, traditionally having to go offline. Been actually bringing all these players together because it's such, an offline market, real estate. And I think the final piece is as well, which we think is really interesting in general, is embedded insurance, right? So traditionally, whether it's a car insurance, a home insurance, health insurance, you always have to go to different websites and apply and hope that you get approved and then sign some physical forms. So again, for us, it was a simple decision to say, if you sign a rental contract, how about we just include home content insurance, right? So, you sign one document, everything's done end to end.
It sounds like you're really trying to help evolve the entire rental space based on all the points you made. It's a secure and safe place, there's insurance, it's really a one-stop shop, your app.
There's so many different counterparties that you have to connect. And now with kind of where we are in the 21st century, with things like digital IDs, digital signing, we have been able to do that. So it makes everybody's life much, much easier.
Given the challenge of soaring rental costs, what practical tips or innovative solutions can you suggest to young adults seeking affordable rental options in today's market?
Yeah, so I think obviously the first thing always patience. If you have time and you don't have to move, you go through all the different search portals, take your time, speak to various, whether it's agents or friends, to try and find that most affordable place. I think that's obviously the easiest place to start. After that, I think what's always interesting is when new condos come up. There's tens of thousands of units that all have to be rented out at the same place. So if you can look for those, I think there's usually pretty good deals to be had there. Again, condos, they're still pretty expensive. So what we've seen a lot of, especially younger adults, opt for is actually co-living. There's some great providers here in Singapore that have fantastic flats, really good quality new builds, and actually it's a fraction of the cost what you would pay for an entire condo. Yes, you have housemates, but again, they're all vetted. And it's nice to have company, right? So when you move out from your parents' place, sometimes it can feel lonely if it's your very first place. So if you have housemates straight away, especially international housemates, it's a super interesting place to start.
Okay, fantastic. Now, Dominic, before we wrap up, do you have any final thoughts or key takeaways for our audience?
Yes, I think, what most people should be really aware of is scams. Not just in Singapore, but globally. Real estate is one of the biggest markets for scams. So whether it comes to paying that very first deposit, and then it turns out the landlord wasn't real, or that commission to an agent, turns out the agent wasn't real. Those are some really key things to really verify before you rent. Singapore's done a fantastic job there that you can actually search the registries to make sure. But even when you move into an apartment, make sure you document everything correctly. Because when you move out, there's bound to be a bill that you didn't expect if you didn't do your job properly.
Right, so it comes down to being vigilant. Thank you so much for your time, Dominic. Let's do this again soon, and I wish you all the best in revolutionizing the rental market.
Thank you very much for having me. It was an absolute pleasure.
Renting is more than a temporary phase. It's a deliberate step towards independence. Embrace challenges, learn from experiences, and let the process shape not just your living situation, but also your approach to long-term financial goals. You've been watching Teatime Tuesday. Until next time, keep seeking knowledge and financial empowerment.